The European Commission wants to break up big gas and power companies to make energy markets more competitive. But it's also proposing tough conditions on foreign investment in European energy. Measures announced today would force companies such as Germany's E.ON or Électricité de France to sell off their power grids and their gas pipelines. The Commission is simultaneously seeking to shield markets from outsiders, such as Russia's Gazprom, unless they also break up supply and distribution.
EU Competition Commissioner Neelie Kroes was joined by EU Commission President Manuel Barroso and Energy Commissioner Andris Piebalgs to deliver the message. They want greater competition on Europe's energy market.
We want functioning markets. The time for incremental steps is over. We now need a quantum leap forward to make the system work.
And that's why Europe's power utilities are set to lose control over distribution. The move aims to prevent utilities from keeping competitors out of the market through prohibitive pricing. The Commission has proposed two models. The preferred solution to break up the large utilities, allowing them to keep their power plants but forcing them to sell their electricity and gas networks. The alternative scenario would see utilities retaining ownership of power plants and transmission networks, but with an independent network owner controlling distribution. For the Commission, that's the second choice solution, but it could be the one that's adopted. That's because EU member states will have to decide. There's no consensus. A group led by Britain and Spain is in favour of the breakup. But Germany and France in particular want to protect major utilities such as E.ON, RWE and EDF. As a result, they're expected to block or attempt to soften the impact of the reforms.
Earlier, I spoke to our Brussels correspondent Jeff Mead. I asked him what the Commission's trying to achieve.
Well, the aim is principally security of energy supply for Europe. And that includes not only opening up national grids and having a complete pipeline system throughout Europe and fair competition. It does involve keeping out the big players from around the world. As you say, Russia's Gazprom. How do you do that fairly? Well, you impose restrictions on their right to buy into the European market, but restrictions that also apply to national operators in Europe. That way you're not accused of discriminating against foreign buyers. But that's the key to this, keeping out those giants from simply swallowing up our energy needs.
But Jeff, isn't the Commission kind of walking a fine line here? On the one hand, it says it's liberalizing energy markets. On the other hand, it's putting up barriers to foreign investment.
Well, it is putting up barriers, but as I say, it's applying the same rules to those potential investors as to EU operators. In other words, your national operator in Germany or France would have to break up its own monopoly within the country, and any would-be buyer, say from Russia, would have to have liberalized gas markets of its own and apply those when taking over a European market. It's a way of keeping them out if possible, but it's above board and it's legal and it works, says the Commission.
This is one of the Commission's most controversial proposals in years. There will be a huge outcry from the big energy companies here within Europe. What do you think? Will it be authorized by the heads of state?
Well, I think it will, but only because there's this compromise that the package already mentioned for Germany and France, which is you don't have to completely separate out your supply and transmission. You may have joint ownership, but you have to have independent running of one or other part. I think the Germans and the French will go with that, but they won't go for total, full liberalization, which is what ideally the Commission would really like.
Jeff Mead in Brussels, thank you very much for that background.